One of the most important things that helped me in the Army and shape the way I am today was it taught me the importance of integrity in everything you do and taking care of the soldiers that are entrusted to you in your command. The strongest relationships that I built were those that are built during combat operations. And nothing replaced the feeling of mission accomplishment than when you know you pulled somebody's bacon out of the fire in a combat operation. That's why I stayed in.
This past year, July 1st is the day I retired. That was a profound day for me because I knew that when I left, there would be a lot of things that I would miss. Being a leader, leading soldiers, teamwork, camaraderie, all of that, I knew that I was going to miss.
After 30 years in the Army, there's been a lot of those moments. But I do think the one point that really stands out just happened recently. My son, who was a student at CU Boulder, University of Colorado Boulder, just recently graduated and he was commissioned in the Army as a second lieutenant. So one of the proudest things in my life, I think, was donning my Army service uniform, going up, pinning on his rank, and then rendering the first salute to my son.
All right, welcome. Thank you for joining us. This is Real Talk San Diego on Facebook Live. We're bringing you the business of life in America's finest city. Cool. So next up, we're going to be talking to Jermaine Higgins from Hire GI. Jermaine, if I can find my correct notes here, is Director of Veteran Recruiting at Hire GI, which is headquartered here in San Diego. They serve those who've served by helping develop and transition military personnel, pairing those candidates with top-tier employers. Jermaine has previously worked as an executive career coach and has served on the boards of several economic empowerment and education organizations. He holds a degree in business management from Tennessee State University and an MBA from marketing from Clark Atlanta University. And we appreciate you being here. Thanks for coming, Jermaine.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
So tell us about Hire GI.
A lot of what you just said, Hire GI is, we like to consider ourselves matchmakers. So we work with veteran-friendly employers that want to hire transition service members or veterans, as well as work with transition service members and veterans and prep them for their transition and allow them to get employment.
Cool. And what are some of the unique benefits that you think both parties receive in that?
Well, there's a lot of disconnect in the communication as of a transition service member understanding the civilian sector and in the civilian sector understanding the military sector. So when you look at the population, I think 5% of the population, 5 to 7% are veterans, 1% is active duty, right? So that means that 95% of the U.S. population has never served. But a lot of times you'll have a transition service member that thinks that the 95 understands them.
Right.
And then you have people in corporate or in these leadership positions that have no idea about the 5%, right? And so it's about being that liaison between the two and educating them on how to hire, how to find the right skill sets. Mm-hmm. So for example, if I don't know the military and let's say I meet a lieutenant commander in the Navy, well, if he says I'm a lieutenant commander and I don't know, military, well, I really can't pull apart what does that mean to me and my organization. Mm-hmm. Or if I was in medical or if I was in, the Marine Corps, what does that mean? So we try to help, facilitate that.
Mm-hmm. And what are some ways that you guys close that education gap? I mean, I know you do seminars and those sort of things.
So from the employer perspective, one of the things we do is we host employer seminars once a month. So we bring in a guest speaker from a major organization. So this month we have 24 Hour Fitness. Last month we had Scripps Healthcare. We had WD-40 the month before, and they come in and kind of talk about their veteran recruiting. Amazon came once, and we kind of like discuss what are their issues and then how to overcome it. From the veteran side, what we do is we host career readiness seminars, resume writing. So you have federal resumes, you have civilian resumes, how to really write those. You know, do you create a generic one? How do I create targeted ones? Acing the interview, you know, the difference between a structured interview and a behavior interview, and how to answer those questions, and how do I bring out my military experience to look valuable to the organization. And then one of the ones I'm excited about that we facilitate is determining your next career field. So you'll find that 80% of service members don't know what they want to do, right? So, you know, you need to kind of sit back, understand what are your strengths, what are your passions, right? And then what do you really want to do when you have an opportunity to transition out of the military? So we host those careers, those platforms.
And I feel like these are valuable skills that aren't widely taught to the general population either.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. I think research shows that 7 to 10% of military skills transition to the civilian sector. So there's a lot of skill sets that they bring to the table that adds a lot of value to an organization.
And so what feedback do you get from the companies that you guys work with? You know, obviously this is working for them, and they like working with the veteran community. What are some of the benefits that they like about working with veterans?
Well, probably the number one that you hear is that they're dependable. Right? They're going to come to work every day. You know, you don't have to worry about them calling out on time. Those type of, you know, soft skills.
Right.
And I think that veterans also have a tendency of, when they were in the military, to have more than one job. Right? So, you know, you can put a veteran in there, you know it's going to get done, and you know that they have a diverse skill set that allows them to do more than one thing. So I think they get a lot out of that.
And it seems like there's a problem-solving mentality too.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's mission-based, right? So, you know, in the military, it's all about the mission. Well, any organization, whether it's for-profit or non-profit, there's a mission. Right? And so long as they believe in the mission,
Right.
you know,
And they're communicated what that mission is, and
you'll have probably one of the loyal employee ever.
yeah. And you guys are doing a big hiring event next week.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that and what's going on there.
So Hire GI, we host career fairs primarily on the West Coast, and our career fair is a little different. We have more of a boutique style. So we invite 25, 30 employers, and we set up on-site interviews. And so the ideal is, as a transition service member walks in, we figure out what do they want to do, if they know. And we actually escort them to the hiring manager and say, hey, here's Bob. Bob wants to get into sales. I think this will be a good fit for you. And we force that connection, because you'll also have an employer that may be an introvert but happens to be in HR at a booth, right? And they'll just look at everyone, right? So we'll try to connect that so that there's some type of communication. And then the on-site interviews work really well, because now it allows the participants to, you know, do an interview, to actually, you know, showcase their skill sets. So our event is next Friday at Anchors Catering, which is right there on 32nd Street base. It's not on the base, but right beside the base. So it should be a fun event.
Okay. And who are you? You're looking to promote this to?
Looking to promote it to any transition service members, any spouses, any reservists, even veterans, to come out and take advantage of our veteran-friendly employers that want to hire.
Awesome. And who are some of those employers, if you don't mind?
So we have San Diego Convention Center, First Command, which is a six-figure job, you know, after the first year.
Yeah.
DoD positions like Titanium Cobra, Technical Engineering and Analysis, AT&T, law enforcement agencies like FBI, Sheriff Department, Customs and Border Protection. And then we even have education institutions like California College of San Diego, DeVry, and I don't know if you've ever heard of Aerostream Renewables. But what they do is they teach you how to fix like windmills and other green energy tools, and you basically, I think it's like 6 weeks, and then you have a job after that 6 weeks. And then a school called Heavy Equipment of America that teaches you how to, you know, work heavy equipment, and then they guarantee you a job.
Nice.
So it's a multitude of different diverse platforms.
Yeah, and these all sound like solid career opportunities, obviously big government agencies, larger companies.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So these are great career opportunities for anyone who might want to come out.
And we say that even though you may not be living or plan to live in San Diego in your transition, at least come and network with the hiring managers, right? You may not even want to work for AT&T, but that guy may know somebody at the organization you want to work at, right? And I would say come and at least get feedback. Hey, I'm looking to get into project management. Can you give me feedback? Does my resume fit for, the industry of project management? How does my brand look, and do I look of value? And that's free resources that now prep you for, your transition.
Yeah, I mean, critique is one of the most valuable resources that we all have,
Right.
because we could all be going along on our path, and
Exactly.
sometimes it's a little tweak.
And in my opinion, there's not a lot of resources for the civilian sector where you can go to a career fair and that employer wants to help you, right? But if I go to a veteran career fair and I pay to be there, that I want to help every veteran possible. So maximize it, right? So that's what we hope, that people come to at least network, build your brand, and then hopefully get a job.
Awesome. And that again, that's it's next Friday.
Next Friday.
And could you say the time and the location again?
It's 11 to 1 at Anchors Catering and Conference Center.
Okay, and that's down by the 32nd Street.
32nd
Naval Base.
Street by the Highway 5.
Okay. All right, and then you also have another seminar that you'd mentioned that you have coming up in May, and that's for that population.
That's the career
as well?
readiness seminars where we
Okay.
have the interviewing, ace in the interview and resume writing. We even have the one-day reboot workshop, which I think was on the show before.
Yep.
And then we actually have a IT and cybersecurity panel where we're going to have 5 HR managers in the IT and cybersecurity space that will provide insights of what is it like to get into that industry. How long should your resume be, or what is the difference between IT and cybersecurity? To how big is education versus certification? What is the best roadmap if I have a year or 2 years, to get into that industry? So we consider that as coming to understand the gold nugget, if you will, of transitioning into those industries. So that'll be the first week of May.
Okay. And how do people find out about that? You have a website they can go on and.
They can go to hiregi.com, and if you click on I'm a GI, you can see all the career fair dates as well as any of our resource dates. Or you can also find us on Eventbrite. Sign up on Eventbrite.
All right. So all of our military community members out there, if you're looking for some career development, training, information, guidance, feedback, it sounds like you guys really do it all and really try and serve that community. So we really appreciate what you do.
Yeah, great service.
Is there any other contact information if someone if there's an employer maybe out there and they're looking to get
Oh,
involved?
absolutely.
How would they contact you
The
guys?
easiest thing to do is if you come to our website, at the bottom of the homepage, it's a contact us. And if you click on that, you can actually schedule, if you're a participant or a service member, you can schedule a 30-minute consultation or an on-site consultation. If you're an employer, you can also schedule time for us to tell you about our events and how you can get involved. But it's really easy to contact us from the website. And any employer, please come. We would love to have you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And you get access to a great community.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Jermaine. Thanks
Thank
for all the
you.
great work that your organization's doing, and thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me.